Hello and welcome to my world. I'm so happy that you joined me today. In my previous video, I built this beautiful greenhouse. However, it's just a shell, just walls, and it's completely empty, both outside and inside. So today, not only I will decorate it, I will also make it useful by adding farms, as well as add some movement and life. I hope you will find this video useful. Please check out previous video if you haven't already. It is a tutorial on how to build it and also has a download link. So without further ado, let's begin. And you may be wondering, what am I doing in the middle of the night in a forest, obviously far away from my home? Well, I am here for a very special occasion. I need a fox that will really help me out with my farm, because I want to make automatic berry farm. The design is extremely simple, but of course finding foxes is a bit more tricky. I need to be swift and sneaky. Ideally, I want to find one white and one red fox. Can we get this one? Gotcha! Don't worry, I'll take care of you. But first we need to go to the nether portal and avoid any wolves. And let's not fall down that hole. Let's be careful here, please. And transporting animals or any mobs in Minecraft has never been easier than in 1.21. Boats on leads are game changer, and not only that, you can literally fly with it. Of course, if you know how to do it. Flying off from the ground may be a little bit tricky, and the lead may break. However, if you elevate yourself and make sure that the boat is already in the air, you can safely fly all the way back to your base. Of course, try not to make any weird angles. Try to stay more or less flat, and it's a straight line home. Of course, if you're going in the correct direction. And now that we are next to our home portal, please never mind that it looks so ugly. We can do very similar trick and put the boat through. And yep, it worked! Alright, I was a bit afraid that I can suffocate, but it seems they are fine. Okay, let me help it a bit. The farm will be relatively small, and it will be located here, right behind this window. I want to make sure that there is some movement in the greenhouse. So having a farm that involves animals or any other mobs may be quite useful to introduce such movement into otherwise a building for plants. And the farm is easy. Maybe you've seen it before. You have your output chest, put hoppers leading into it. In my case, just 5 hoppers, as I will only have 5 bushes. Put mud blocks on top, but should be mud blocks, because grass will not work for it. Hoppers will not pick up the stuff. It can be also tilled ground, like farmland, but I just prefer how the mud looks for this. Then you plant some bushes and surround them with glass blocks, or any other solid block, whatever you prefer. Also, I put plenty of lights nearby. It's because bushes need light level of 7 to grow and produce berries. So make sure the space is illuminated very well. And now the hardest part, put foxes inside. It took me longer than expected, but finally, farm number 1 is done. And while I'm building all the other stuff inside, these little guys will produce a lot of berries. If you want the berry farm to be more productive, just put more berry bushes. And if you put too many berry bushes, add few more foxes, and maybe rail pickup system instead of hopper. Another type of farm that I could have built in my greenhouse, but I already have it elsewhere and don't really want to rebuild, is this really small crop farm. It will definitely fit in one of the 5x5 spaces, and it's very easy to build and operate. I built it back in this video, but of course it's not my design. I followed the tutorial, but I can't remember which one exactly. I don't want to make too many walls in my greenhouse, but I really like the idea of using sugarcane as a divider between. I think it looks really nice. And as I said before, we need plenty of lights. And if you've ever been to a greenhouse, you could see how they use these long clamps to illuminate greenhouses. So end rods are perfect for this. I use a lot of copper grades to kind of show that there are some pipes or whatever. For now they are fully oxidized. Maybe later I will scrape them and make it more copper color or a little bit rusty. You know, for vibes. Whenever we have something like shelves, I put lots of pots with all of the different plants, and some of them empty of course, or even with dead bushes. I also like to add some more shelves. I'm quite happy with how this compartment looks, very simple but a lot of details, and of course foxes being really cute. I hope they like it here. Time to build farm number 2. This will be wheat farm powered by villagers, and it will occupy all of this side here, because 5 by 5 would be too small for this farm. Well, whatever I'm doing will be small anyway. Normally wheat farms are much bigger, but hear me out. This will be passive farm that will be running all of the time whenever I'm home. It may not be the most productive, but over time it will accumulate a lot of stuff, and setup is super easy. Collection system using hopper minecarts. By the way, these hoppers I placed wrong. They should go across to cover all 5 lanes, not just 1 lane. Silly me. Power up those rails, have a collection system, plant wheat on top, put a farmer villager or 2. Fill their inventory with 8 stacks of seeds. That's actually super important step. Make sure that they recognize their composter, but cannot reach it. So there is trapdoor in between them. That's to make sure that they never compost seeds. And that's it. The farm is ready. However, not quite for me. First of all, I want to decorate this place. And remember how I was speaking about movement and mobs? It's a good idea to add bees. In case you didn't know, in certain greenhouses, in order to increase productivity of the crop and ensure the pollination inside, farmers put boxes of bumblebees. So that's exactly what I will do here. Bees will help with the weed growth. But of course they need some flowers. Therefore flowering azalea leaves and pink cherry petals are perfect for this. Also they look really beautiful. They look happy in there, don't they? However, I'm not quite happy with the farm yet. After all, we're in 1.21 and crafters exist, so I prepared a basement. And by the way, some actual greenhouses actually do have a basement, so as do I. So my plan is, this farm produces both seeds and wheat. So I want to separate wheat and compact it into hay bales, and then the remaining seeds I want to compost and compress bone meal into bone blocks. It shouldn't be too complicated. Basically, I will need to build 1 item sorter and then 2 automatic crafters, and both systems are relatively easy. The automatic sorter system, I think it was designed by Impulse SV, and it looks like this. And the autocrafter is also quite simple. So here it is. Very simple. The redstone doesn't really overlap, so I don't need to worry about anything. And it seems to be working. So now I just need to make a little room down there, so it doesn't really look so bare. Also for an output, I will put double chest that is feeding into the shulker box, so it can store a lot of items before I run out of space. Also, if I just need a shulker of stuff, I can easily pick it up. Now let's decorate the inside. So I've placed armor stand right next to the entrance and exit. You know, to hang our lab coat. Quite handy hanger for the outside clothes. Sink to wash our hands before and after. Some tables for stuff. Here we can build quite handy wheelbarrow to transport any goods that we need. Piles of various stuffs that may be handy. Barrels, hay bales, packed hail block and packed bamboo. And I don't have particular plan for this space. Reason 1, if in the future I want to add another small farm, especially if it's crop related, this will be an excellent spot. So for now, I will just plant various things. The greenhouse is almost ready, and one of the things that really needs to be changed is floor. I will put some mud next to sinks, but otherwise the floor will be mostly made out of sandstone with a mix of sand and stripped birch. Simple but still very nice. And interior is done. I really love how it looks. It's quite busy and has a lot of details, but nice to be inside and look at it. And I added a little secret. In the basement I planted a lot of netherwort. I think it's appropriate place for it to grow. And this farm was producing while I was building. Also, I added second line to composter, so if I have a shulker box with stuff that I want to compost, I can place it here and it will go directly into that composter and produce even more bone meal. I'm so happy with how my greenhouse looks from the outside, now that it's not empty, and you can see through the windows that stuff is happening. It looks so much better than an empty shell. However, it's still lacking from the outside, and the outside decorations are as important as interior or the building itself. So let's decorate, shall we? And of course, I'll start with connecting this greenhouse to different parts of my island. Having a path from one place to another is so important. And of course I'll have different type of path going to different things. One big and wide going towards the portal. I'll decorate it with lamppost and lots of flowers. The other paths will be muddy and not so linear. Also a path leading to a village below. The area around the nether portal I will decorate with white flowers. It just makes sense because of the white leaves of the tree. Also I add a little bit of blue. This area next to greenhouse is excellent place for a patch of pitcher pot and a patch of torch flowers. Placing some lanterns in front of windows of greenhouse is quite a good idea. And we have so many colors and flowers around, so I thought that this area here is excellent to plant some trees, something made out of spruce leaves, to add a little bit of dark colors. So to make sure this area is not way too busy. And I think I can fit here 3 small trees. And another small tree here. This one will use oak leaves. In this area I want to make a swing and decorate it with some beautiful pink flowers. Also, few cherry trees over here. I will not decorate the whole hill in this episode, but there is a little bit more that I want to do right in front of the greenhouse. I have to make sure that this cliff is nicely looking. I use some dripstone and mud blocks and some jungle leaves. And of course, edges of the cliffs needs to be protected with fences and leaves. I had few spare allays, so I put them inside the greenhouse. They don't really do anything, they just look cute. And I think that's it. That was a lot of work. A lot. I spent hours of designing and building and decorating. But I've been enjoying all of it, all this time. And not only I built something that is really beautiful and aesthetic, I really love that there are some farms inside that are really useful for me. And hey, what do you think about my build? Will you build this in your world? What else would you add or change? Feel free to leave some comments with your thoughts below, and maybe let me know, is there anything else that you want to see me build? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had excellent time. I hope to see you again in my next video. Bye!